Alright, welcome back everybody. It's your boy Motorman Dan. Today we are going to be talking about the Dart Spitter. One of my favorite traps of all time. The Dart Spitter, while spinning, shoots many small darts out in every direction, deals physical damage. We have the increasing damage for level upgrades. You have to deal 1500 damage to unlock the uniques. Uniques are deals ice damage or increased duration. For the unique upgrades, I go ice damage pretty much 100% of the time. The only time I get increased duration is maybe speed running. When I was racing Time Master, he used the increased duration. Ice is just so good. Crowd control is so good. Ice is so good. And it buffs itself with its own damage. Do you run the increased duration, or you have any particular reason or any way that you run it? Let me know. Let me know. I will say that whenever you freeze an enemy with the ice darts don't always fly into the same spot. So unless they're like directly underneath it, they may not get hit by any additional ice darts. So even though it could buff itself, it doesn't always buff itself because it may not hit the same target twice. And, you know, if you do increased duration, I guess you could go acid and buff it by 50%. So it's better, more damage. But there's also a lot of things that are strong against physical, and there's nothing strong against ice or ice damage. And there's nothing immune to freeze. So because there's things strong against physical, nothing is strong against ice, it just kind of makes sense for that purpose, as well as the fact that it is crowd control. And the bigger enemies are more likely to get hit, which are more of your issue, generally speaking anyways, are more of a problem. And the Ice Star Spitters help with that a lot. Okay, that being said, let's jump into the game file. So the first game file that we need to look at is the Dart Spitter attributes. Dart Spitter attributes is projectile speed of 4,000. That's 4,000 grid squares per second. 4,000 units per second. A grid square is 150 units. You can do the math. 1,600 is the projectile distance, which is 10.6 grid squares. And a grid square is the footprint of an archer. An archer is one grid square. So it's 11 archers in a line is how far the dart will go, according to the game files. Projectiles per second is 15, so base it's gonna be 3 seconds long. So base it is 45 projectiles. Primary damage is 20 per projectile, and then you have the secondary damage, which is 5. And we're gonna talk about the secondary damage here in a bit. Now let's go into the trap protos. The trap protos gives us 10-second cooldown. It gets the 3-second duration for the trigger, a reset delay of 0.1, which is nothing. But that has to do something with cooldown. The coin value is 900 coin. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And it costs 6 skulls to unlock. Oh, trigger delay of 0.8 seconds. So it doesn't trigger right away. It does take a little bit of time, but its trigger range is far enough that that's actually a good thing. The fact that its trigger delay is so high is a very good thing. And you'll see that whenever we jump into the game and take a look at it. Your status effect proto for it is going to be the Frost Grenade Freeze, which is a 3-second freeze, causing physical and ice to do 1.3 times damage, 30% buff. That is only if you get the freeze upgrade for dealing ice damage. Okay. The upgrade protos. Trap Dart, first one, primary damage, +2. Next one, +3. Next one, +5. It's going to take it up to a total of +10 damage, so going from 20 to 30 damage per hit. Then, the first unique upgrade is deals ice damage. Here we can see the Frost Grenade Freeze. The primary is ice, secondary is ice, and that's it. Okay, then we have the Dart Spitter Unique 2. We have increased duration. That's going to add 2 to the timer, which is going to take it to 5-second duration. So instead of 45 projectiles a second, you're getting 75. Yeah, you're getting 75 projectiles per second instead of 45. Not bad. I'm sorry, not per second. Not per second. Per activation, not per activation. So it's still 15 projectiles per second. Okay, but then there's also an unused upgrade for the Dart Spitter. That is to primary burned. Now that would be interesting, because it doesn't actually say that the primary changes to fire. It's just that it changes to burn. Interesting indeed. But it is not used. It is an unused upgrade. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the game. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is the range for this trap. This trap, the trigger activation is actually, if you think of a tile as a 2x2 grid square section, you can see this is going to activate. And there we go. That guy got hit. A couple of those guys got hit there. So the activation range is actually, I wish I brought a floor trap so I could show you, but it is, here, I'll show you on this. It is, if you're in the middle one, you can go all the way out here and the middle one will trigger, or all the way out here and the middle one will trigger. So if this is a tile, you're going a 3x3 tile area is what triggers the trap. Let's jump into another map and take another look at stuff. All right, here we are on switchbacks. Now, switchbacks has some very high ceilings, and you'll notice that the gravity pillar can pull them up and then put them into the dart spitters section. I'm curious if we're going to see any ground units freeze. We didn't see any ground units freeze. As a matter of fact, we didn't see any freeze at all, which is interesting. Normally you'd see some. So we're going to clear these guys up a little bit. Okay. And hope that it snags somebody. I don't know if it pulls up the heavy guys fast enough. Yeah, there we go. Nice. All right, cool. Now you saw the darts. They actually go in a downward direction. They can go from up there to down here. As a matter of fact, these ceilings over here, are they taller? Well, they may not be taller. Okay, yeah, they're not. But I have had it before where I put them... Yeah, they're not any taller, but I put them up here, and I put gravity pillars up here during my barricading session, and the gravity pillar will lift the dudes up, and the dart spitters were actually hurting guys down here and freezing them. So that's pretty cool. All right, we're going to check out one more thing. All right, I want you guys to pay close attention to enemies' health, because you're going to notice something very peculiar. See this guy? Everybody else died, but he left with half health. Let's watch something again. Ah, you see? Each dart does 30 damage, and these guys have 50 health. So he shouldn't be at half health. He's at half health, but he shouldn't be at half health. So why is he at half health? Well, my friends, it is because of that secondary damage, 5 damage per second. I'm assuming it's 5 damage per second. We don't actually know. But there is a secondary value for 5 damage per second. It could be considering, it could be talking about the unused upgrade, which is the burn, but I highly doubt it because then that would have its own status effect in the status effect protos, and it doesn't. But what it does have is a 5 DPS for secondary damage. Now, when I asked about this, because I had noticed that some enemies were taking small amounts of damage that was not calculated in the in-game post-stats damage calculation, and the fact was that the Dart Spitter has bad luck mitigation. Essentially, it deals constant damage in an affected area, in its affected area, in very small doses. And if a dart hits a target, it's higher damage and will proc the freeze. And this was told to me by Juice, who was the old community manager of Orcs Must Die 3. Before Space Cats. So, yeah, so essentially that's where you're seeing the small trickles of damage that can add up, but because, so that being said, maybe the duration is better because you'll have more of that 5 DPS underneath everything else. And that's why we saw the Light Orc have 25 damage taken, even though he never got hit by a single dart, is because of that bad luck mitigation. So, is it pretty good? I think it's pretty good. Anyways, so that's the Dart Spitter for you for Orcs Must Die 3. Now, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you use it in one way or another, if you don't like it, I don't know how you couldn't. But if you don't like it, let me know why. And if you do like it, let me know that you do. And if you use it in any particular way other than what I have shown. Yeah, that's about it. All right, cool. Guys, as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube and Twitch. And I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.